When it comes to building a personal brand, do you ever think to yourself, how in the world will I ever stand out in this crowded marketplace? Maybe you started to do something because you were passionate about it, and now you realize that you have to build a brand. Well, when it comes to the fitness industry, it is a multi-billion-dollar business, and to rise to the top takes a lot of personality, courage, and stamina. And the lady I get to sit down with today, I admire her so much. I remember looking at fitness magazines, wishing and hoping someday I could possibly look like that. But she's also built a phenomenal brand and truly helps people live not just a healthy life, but a happy life.
Welcome to the hike. Something that's really important for me is to let other people know that exercise isn't just about grinding away hours in the gym. It's about getting outside and hiking and playing and getting back to the things that we used to do when we were kids.
No excuses. There are no excuses to not exercise.
Wow.
So who doesn't have laundry detergent at home? Everybody does. So buy 2 little ones instead of 1 big one and use it as something to do exercise.
Best known as one of the original trainers on the hit NBC show The Biggest Loser, Kim Lyons has motivated millions of people to live a happy and healthy lifestyle.
Kim, thank you so much for taking time out to join me. I know you are an incredibly busy lady, and it's been so fun to really watch you expand your business here with the studio, but just also look at you back there. So much I want to talk to you about as far as how you've really become an icon in your industry, because you have. When you think fitness, you think Kim Lyons as well. But where did it start for you? Because when you started, I'm sure you weren't sitting there going, I want to be known as an icon in my industry.
Yeah, no, it definitely did not happen like that. Honestly, I have to say, I think fitness chose me. I didn't really choose fitness. I started out on a path to be an airline pilot, and literally overnight quit, decided that's not what I wanted to do, and was working behind the desk at a gym when a trainer offered to train me, and it changed my life. Everything kind of fell into place, and I realized that I wanted to give back what he gave to me to everyone else. So that passion just kept rolling, and here we are.
Here we are. And I have to ask, how long ago was that?
That was in 1998.
Okay.
A long time ago.
So yeah, I always say it does not happen overnight, people. It does not happen overnight.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
So then you got into competing in fitness, because
did.
I remember seeing you on the cover of Oxygen and Muscle and Fitness, and I was like, wow.
And, yeah, that was kind of the foundation. That trainer that offered to work with me, he was looking for someone to train with his client that was getting ready for a fitness competition. And she couldn't afford her sessions, and he said, I know someone who I think would train really well with you. And so we started sharing those sessions, and I was watching her body change, and I was watching my body kind of change. I was like, what are you doing different that I'm not? And she's like, well, it's the competition diet. And so I got into this regimen, and I just watched my body change so much. And I learned that combination of the workouts, the strength training, and the nutrition were so key to everything. So that's when I started to study not only personal training, but also nutrition.
Okay, now everyone watching is going, what was that workout diet? What was that competition diet?
A lot of chicken, a lot of broccoli, a lot of fish, and just watching and learning about it. It's like at the time I was eating bagels, I was eating pasta for dinner. I had a typical college diet,
right.
And it definitely changed, and it's continued to progress even over the years.
Have you ever thought to yourself, maybe when you were competing or as you've continued to grow and evolve, how am I going to do this? It's such a saturated market. How am I going to win the competition? Or,
gosh, I don't want to say no. When it came to the competitions, I literally jumped in full force, and I signed up for what was called the Miss Galaxy competition, and everybody around me said, are you crazy? That's the biggest competition. Aren't you scared? And I was like, why would I compete against 10 people when I can compete against 100? And
that sounds like so much more fun.
Yeah, so I jumped in. I got slaughtered for the first couple of years, but I would always look at the girls in the top 5, and I just knew, I'm like, I can do that. I can get there. So it took about 5 years, but I did. I got there. I won it in 2000, and that was huge for me.
Right.
That was a really big win. Actually, I guess it wasn't even quite 5 years, because I guess I started about 96.
But what I love about that, Kim, is that you allowed yourself to fail, quote unquote,
totally,
to get to where you wanted to go, and you never thought that you couldn't get there.
Yeah, and and that's one of the most important things I think, especially with fitness, but just everything in life, is you can't fear failure. A lot of people don't want to fail because they feel like it's the end. I look at failure and I go, well, it's just a start to figuring out how to really do it right.
Yeah,
You almost have to fail Because if you don't, it just means you're not pushing yourself as hard as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So with this business now, you've now become, well, you're a mom. You are married. You have a new fitness studio that is, growing, and you have your new line. So I know people are asking, she must have the perfect life. Like, look at her. But it's not easy.
No, it's been so much trial and error, so much like just being scared and not knowing what to do and how to do it, and then just trying again and again. They say that the harder you fall, the higher you bounce back, and I really truly believe in that, because I could put a list of my failures next to my successes, and the failures are always more than the successes. The successes are what keep you motivated to keep trying, but man, I've had a lot of failure along the way, a lot, not just in little things but fitness competitions, but 3 or 4 year projects that I started and teamed up with people with, and they failed, and they failed, and they failed. But if those other things that weren't really mine, that I was just partnered in, kind of a spokesman, that stuff didn't fail, I never would have ever started my own.
Sure. Such a great lesson.
Yeah, and I really believe everything happens for a reason. And I look back at all my failures and how much I learned in those processes, and it all added up to what I'm doing now.
Yeah. I think sometimes we come across something and we want it so bad, and when it doesn't happen, we're so disappointed. And I've really learned in my own life, and the same thing you're saying, is that it's always preparing you for something even greater. Like, there's something else that's going to come.
And of every massive failure, there's always something so much better. I look at my first massive crisis when I was at the top of my game, fitness competitions, and I busted my Achilles tendon in a competition prep, and it's like, I don't know, I think it was 3 weeks before my competition, and all of a sudden I was now completely out of the game. So
all that hard work.
Yeah, and it was like, and I mean, I had 2 or 3 weeks where I just laid in bed. You see the scenes like when they're sliding down the shower crying, and like, you can't get out of bed. Like, that was me for so many weeks, just going, what am I gonna do? My leg hurt. They were giving me painkillers. I had crutches. I was just like, this is not my life. I work out like 8 hours. So, but out of that, I called some of the editors of the magazines, and I was like, hey, can I write for you? And all of a sudden that evolved into writing. And then I wrote a book. I published a book, So everything leads to something bigger.
Love that. Because in fitness too, I think so many people, whether you're a new entrepreneur or you're looking and you're growing to expand, and even if you're not an entrepreneur yet, but there is like personality right now more than ever, I think is so important, because it's such a saturated market.
Yeah.
And in order for you to stand out, as we were talking about, you got to shoot those videos, right? You have to be seen on days you're like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I mean, you were on The Biggest Loser, right? And you took over Jillian's role for a season, and then you guys were together.
Yeah.
But for you, again, to be at that level in this industry, I want to talk about Biggest Loser, but before we do, like, what do you think it was, Kim, that allowed you to really rise up to the top and be seen as someone that they would want to hire for The Biggest Loser?
It's a compilation of things that all added up, because when I started in the fitness competitions, I did it because I loved it. I did it for the passion of it. That led to the fitness modeling, which led to the exposure in the magazines. And with the modeling, I liked it, but I needed more, which led to the writing. So now I had all those credentials out there where I was seen as an expert. I was also modeling, so there was the proof that what I'm doing works, because I'm my own little billboard. And then, when the producers called and they said, come on in, they just got this raw girl that I had zero TV experience. Yeah, I'd done background, crunches and infomercials and things, the price that you get paid for having a six-pack. And, but all those things added up to the exposure that led that casting director to call me. And for that brief moment in time, I was like, yes, this is so cool. And I didn't know very much about the show. It was pretty new. But I went in thinking, and I just left a workout, so I was all sweaty and I was just raw. And I go in and there's all these people in perfect little outfits with their managers and their agents. And I sign in and I'm like number 793. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh,
what?
They called a few people.
Yeah.
So, and again, it took that passion of just going in and just being me and telling people, this is what I do. This is what I love. And it wasn't trying so hard to be something I wasn't. I was a trainer and I knew I could help these people.
Yeah.
So one thing led to another.
And there you were. Okay, so this is going to be a shocker for some of you, but what you see in reality TV is not necessarily reality.
It's not always real. And, it took me it took me a long time to come to terms with The Biggest Loser. And I mean, everyone's heard at home the failure that they go through after they leave the show. And, that really hit home with me because, you spend so much time with these people helping them lose this weight, and then they go home and they gain it back.
Right.
And I felt angry at the show. I was mad because I was like, they're not showing the real hardship behind this. I mean, you have people that go from eating 7,000 calories a day down to eating 1,200 calories a day, working out never, and then working out 9 hours a day.
And that's just not real life for most people.
It's not real life.
Yeah.
They have no kids. They had no, it's a bubble where they literally just have themselves to think about. But at the end of the day, I look at it as it shows people what you're truly capable of, and it gives people hope. It gives people hope that you can do it no matter how far down you are. And and one of the biggest things too with The Biggest Loser, we talk a little bit about failure, is that show eliminated people's fear of failure. And I feel like that's why they were able to succeed, because they knew it was going to work.
Right.
They saw it on TV, so they're like, I'm not going to fail here. I've seen it work.
Yeah.
So again, it erased that fear of failure, and they just went in full force. So there's so many good things that have come out of the show. It inspired so many people. But at the end of the day, trust me, you guys don't want to ever be on that show.
Don't do it.
It's hard. It's hard. And even as a trainer, morally, sometimes it was pretty tricky. But
I'm sure.
They got through it, and I guess that the complications of being obese are kind of more than the complications of working out that hard.
Yeah. Well, I think for so many people, there are so many complications in just life in general. And
for sure.
Things on TV look so easy.
Always.
It's like, I can just go and eat and have people and it all comes off, or overnight success. And I feel like, Kim, you've just really risen up in an industry that is so crowded, and I think that's very inspirational, because you are what you see is what you get to, and that's one of the things I really love about you. Like, you are so kind, you're still so passionate. But let's talk about too, when you decided to launch your own fitness line here that's doing very well, right?
Yes.
Like, what came up for you there? Has there been some challenges with that? What made you say, okay, now's the time for that?
Well, it's kind of a funny story behind the equipment, because when I started this studio, this is a typical Kim. I started it and I'm just like, what? I need resistant bands. I need them shorter than what they are, sold. So I'm just going to go manufacture them. So I'm looking for companies in China. Like, I'm literally calling China, and they're like, who is this girl? This isn't how this works. And through a lot of trial and error there, and I mean, it was probably about 2 years worth of trial and error and getting these pieces, and I was combining pieces from dog leashes and pieces of resistant tubing, and I'm like, no, I want the dog leash piece on the resistant. It was crazy, and I'm getting things that were the wrong color, and I'm like, why can't anybody make anything but red and blue? And so all these things are happening. And I also had a nutrition bar at the time, and this is kind of funny. The guy that owns Quest Nutrition was looking for a new manufacturer, and my manufacturer of my nutrition bars did a lot of sticky dough. So I was like, let's set up a meeting. So I sit down with him, and I'm telling him a little bit about my woes of trying to make resistant bands. And he said, you really got to meet this guy, Mark, at Impacts. And I'm like, okay. So I went in with them, and I told them a little bit about what I was trying to do. And it was just instant chemistry. Here they had someone who was out in the field working with equipment, knew what to change.
Right.
And these guys were the manufacturers. They were the importers. They knew how to do everything that I didn't know how to do. So we started with simple resistant bands, and it's just grown and grown and grown. And
so the lesson from that was just start, just try,
totally
just
start.
make mistakes. Don't call China. Just
call China, and also to tell people about what you're struggling with. So many people are
so good.
How is everything? Oh, great! I'm standing down that, and it's like, no. I was like, oh my gosh, you won't believe what I'm trying to do, and I don't know what I'm doing, and this is hard. And that's when people step up and they go, I can help you. Let me help you with this. And it took me...
Okay, hang on. I just want to say, did y'all get that? You have to ask for help.
I have to ask for it. It took me 43 years to figure that out, literally. I mean, and my whole life I've been, I'll do it myself kind of girl. And it's still a joke in my family, because my dad was like, you're always like, I'll do it myself. And now I'm just like, I'm not doing it by myself anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to find people who do it better than I do it, and I'm going to get their help.
I think the sooner you learn that, the more successful you will be.
Save yourselves.
Yes. So what does inspired living mean to you?
I think it's living your passion. It's living what you love so that you don't have to be fake about it. If you're truly getting up and doing what you love, you're going to be tired in the morning. You're going to have those days where you're like, oh my God, I don't want to go. But when you get to where you're going, you remember why you're there. And that passion feeds that inspiration that allows you to take the next step.
So beautiful. So for someone who's watching right now who says, gosh, I want that. I want to create this bold brand. I want to make a bigger difference. I believe that I can. What would you tell that person?
Say, don't be scared to just honestly like write down your goals, and if they don't go exactly as planned, maybe they're not meant to be. Maybe they're meant to go a little different direction. But if you don't start, you'll never know that. So honestly, don't be afraid of your passion. Just go for it. Ask for help, and just get it done.
Get it done.
There's a way.
There is a way. There is a way. And if they want to learn more about you and your fitness equipment, which by the way, I'm not just a fan, I actually work out here. Like Kim's like, oh, you're at your station, because I kind of have my place.
Yes.
And I can actually say your equipment is fabulous. Your trainings are amazing. You are just such a kind person who really
Thank you.
wants people to feel and
Thanks.
look great. So if someone wants to learn more about you, how do they do it?
You can go to kimlyons.com, and the equipment is all at bionicbodygear.com.
And we'll make sure there's a link in the interview as well, so you
Perfect.
can get your gear on and start feeling a little better about
definitely.
yourself. And thank you so much for watching this interview. We hope that you are inspired and encouraged to go out there and build that brand and be who it is that you truly see yourself being in the world. We would love to hear from you. So if you had an aha moment, please post it below. And if you are inspired, please share this with someone else, because that's what it is all about, spreading the love. And when you are inspired, you inspire others. So thanks again for watching. And as always, remember to keep dreaming it, living it, and being it. Until next time.